And I can't wait to delve into how you use your authentic connections to create such a profound impact, both in your life and the lives of the entrepreneurs that you coach.
Thanks for inviting me. And I'm still in awe that all of this happened through a networking connection.
It happened through a network convention, and it was like 3 days later, or like a week later, and here we are, right?
Exactly. So good.
Yeah. So that's something like networking events. I never was a big proponent of them before. I never really thought the value, but I was like, oh wait, this is like exactly what is required to grow your business, is getting yourself out there.
So true. Especially after the pandemic, we're seeing more of a rise of that. Of like entrepreneurs and humans craving that human connection. And so you and I are an example of that. We wanted to meet each other in person, and look where it brought us.
Yes, exactly. First of all, I gotta say, I love the outfit.
Oh,
it is psychedelic right here. It's amazing.
It's part of the brand, you know.
Part of the branding. Actually, that's something very interesting. There's all these different types of branding, and I know that some of the biggest entrepreneurs, they have like a sort of like style of clothing.
Yeah.
For branding. So is this like thought out?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my brand is bold colors, fun shapes and sizes of things that you wouldn't see. I also usually wear these purple glasses. I don't wear them for podcasts because it has a bit of a glare, but that's part of my brand. And people will come up to me on the streets and say, hey, I saw you, like I recognize you because of your glasses. So, I mean, repetition, people remember. So how do you get remembered? Colors is part of it for me.
That's so true, because like right now we're so bombarded by attention, by people want your attention in every other aspect. So you have to stand out in one way or another.
Totally.
So I like that. Yeah, that's good. So that's why I'm trying to get with the blue coat, blue for trust. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, great. So we're going to just talk a little bit more about your early life and your background first. So Gazzy, can you share some memories from your early life that I believe shaped your perspective on entrepreneurship and your personal development?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hadn't thought about entrepreneurship till well into my 20s. Growing up, I don't know, my parents are immigrants. So the idea of like work and career was you'd go to university, you'd either become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, and then you would work a 9 to 5. And that was the idea of success. So that's all I really knew growing up. But I would say one of the values that was really important for my family coming here was that they did a lot to bring us to Canada. And so we were going to use this opportunity to create a really memorable life. And what my parents thought, because I was in politics back home in Iran, women are not involved in politics. And so growing up, we always heard around the family, like, create the opportunity that you never had, that my family never had back home. So I thought I would work in politics, and that was the value that stood with me, where my parents were like, we want our daughters to be in politics because that's something you won't see back home. And so that was one of the things, whether it was entrepreneurship or having a career, I always grew up, like my childhood, I remember really clearly my parents always advocating for us to like create something big, and that we weren't just going to have a regular 9 to 5. They had big ambitions for us. I mean, they left their home country when it was going to war, and it was in not a good condition. And so for them, it was really important that we took advantage of growing up in a country like Canada. And so I always heard my dad saying, like, go for the big goals, no dream is too big. And he always encouraged us to thrive in what was traditionally male dominated industries. I mean, politics, right?
Yeah.
My dad was always at the forefront being like, you tell them what to do. They should listen to you. And so that value of always like going for it and creating impact was there, but it was never shared to me through entrepreneurship. And so that's kind of where the shift had to happen. I was like, I knew I wanted to create big impact, but I hadn't thought about entrepreneurship because my parents weren't teaching that to me at that time.